Hi friends, my name is Myra Vial and I blog about calligraphy and hand lettering over at vialdesigns.com, and you can also find me on social media as Vial Designs. In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to get started learning modern calligraphy, like what brush pens are the best for beginners, why the paper you're using makes a difference, and the number one mistake that most people make when they're learning modern calligraphy. Even if you already started learning calligraphy, you might be missing this one step that I'm gonna talk to you about, and learning how to properly do it can help you improve your calligraphy. If you stay until the end of this video, I'm gonna show you how to get access to the free worksheet that I created for you so you can get started learning calligraphy, or if you already started, you can get better at it. Before we get started, I wanted to mention that calligraphy is not the same as cursive writing. The main difference is the writing speed and the mark variation in the width of the strokes. So when you're doing cursive writing, you're supposed to write fast and continuously. It is a little bit hard for me to do here just because I'm so used to doing calligraphy. But when you are doing calligraphy, you're supposed to do it slow and do a small pause or lift your pen every time you do a stroke. And each letter is formed with strokes, and that's what I'm going to show you a little bit later in the video. Because in calligraphy, you're aiming at the thin upstrokes and the thick downstrokes. Now let's talk about the best brush pens that I recommend for beginners. My number one recommendation is the Tombow Fudenowski brush pen in the hard tip. This type of pen also comes in the soft tip and the Tombow dual brush pen. These are the brush pens that I recommend for beginners, and you might be wondering why I have this washi tape on this brush pen. This is just something I do to recognize the pen that I use the most, and then I can use on any type of paper. These are my top 3 brush pens that I recommend for beginners. I always recommend for you to start with a small tip brush pen. If you don't have access to this, I'm going to give you a couple of other options that you can have. Let's go over the small tip brush pens that I recommend for beginners, and I recommend for you to start with a small tip brush pen just because I think they are easier to control, and for you it's going to be easier for you to achieve the thick and the thin downstrokes. So my favorite is a Tombow Fudenowski hard tip. This Fudenowski also come in a soft tip, which is very similar to the hard tip, only that the tip is a little bit more flexible. I recently discovered these Zebra Famboire brush pens, and I really love them. They come in fun colors, and they're also great for beginners. Another option that you have is the Marvin Uchida Le Pen Flex. This one, the body is a little bit slim, so you may have to get used to that. And last but not least, the Pentel Brush Sign Pen. This is another favorite for beginners. Now going into large tip brush pens, the ones that I recommend for beginners is the Tombow dual brush pen, as I mentioned previously. I also recommend the Kuretake brush pen, which is very different than the Tombow dual brush pen in size. This one will be better for you to carry around. The dual brush pen is the largest one that I have, so sometimes that can be a little bit difficult to carry around in your pencil case. I also recommend this Sharpie stain marker. This is supposed to be for fabric, but I love it to practice. They're very flexible and very juicy. Last but not least are the Karim markers. These are one of my favorites. This will be the juiciest that you have. They're great for many watercolor blending and all the other things. They are a little bit on the expensive side. All the other ones will be a little bit more affordable than this, but if you can get these pens, these are really a great option too. And another cheaper option that you have is the Crayola markers. These are not actually brush pens, but you can still do modern calligraphy and hand lettering with these pens, and I have a whole video that you can check out right here. I'm going to put the link because you can use these pens to do modern calligraphy. Or you can also use the super tips. Now let's talk paper. The paper you use when you're doing calligraphy is very important because it's gonna help you not only protect your pens, it's also gonna help you with your calligraphy strokes, with your writing. The first type of paper that I recommend is this Rhodia pad, which is very soft, and I do like this dot grid. It also comes with squares or plain. I also recommend this HP 32 Premium Printer paper, and this is the best for your everyday practice. And when you are printing your worksheets, I always recommend that you print it in this paper because it's going to be very smooth and it's going to help you with your brush pens. And last but not least, I do recommend also this tracing paper, which if you don't have access to any of the other two type of papers, this is also great for your brush pens and for practice. Now let's move on to the basics of modern calligraphy, which the two things you need to get used to when it comes to calligraphy is the light pressure or no pressure when you going up, which is to form the upstrokes, and then the heavy pressure when you go down, which is to form the downstrokes. And now I'm gonna go over with you the main thing that most people miss when they are beginning calligraphy, which are the basic calligraphy strokes, and I'm gonna demonstrate it to you. And this might be the number one reason why you haven't seen improvement in your calligraphy, because you haven't mastered the basic calligraphy strokes. If you are a beginner, make sure that before you grab a pen and start making letters or writing words, that you know how to do these basic calligraphy strokes, because this is what's going to help you form the letters and achieve consistency with your modern calligraphy. So the first basic calligraphy stroke are the upstrokes, which, like I mentioned before, is light to no pressure in your brush pen. And basically when you grab your brush pen, you go up and you don't apply any pressure to it. And I do recommend for you to do this exercise, fill the whole page. And at the beginning I mentioned that I created a free worksheet which I have all the strokes that you need, and I'm going to show you how you can have access to it. Now moving to the second basic calligraphy stroke is the downstrokes, and for this is where you are going to apply pressure to your brush pen. And don't worry, the brush pen is not going to break. You can apply all the pressure to achieve the thick downstrokes. Third basic calligraphy stroke is the entrance or exit stroke, and it's very similar to the upstroke, but you do it sort of like a curve, and this is the stroke that you're going to use the most because this is going to help you to connect your letters. The fourth basic calligraphy stroke is the underturn stroke, which is basically, this is sort of like a U shape, and this stroke is going to help you with the transition from the thick to the thin strokes. And now we have the overturn stroke, which is the opposite of the underturn stroke. Next we have the compound curve, which is sort of like a combination of the underturn and the overturn stroke. Then we have the ovals. The ovals, make sure you're starting from the side and not from the top, and this is going to help you with the transitions between thick and thin strokes when you're forming your letters. Last, we have the ascending stem loop and the descending stem loop. And there you have it. These are all the basic calligraphy strokes that you should master before you jump into making letters or writing words or phrases. So making sure that you master these strokes is going to help you with your calligraphy, and this is the number one step that beginners miss when they're learning calligraphy. And now I'm going to show you why these are so important, because this is going to make up all your letters, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to use these basic calligraphy strokes to create the whole alphabet. And now I'm using a few pages from my modern calligraphy workbook, which is a step-by-step guide to learn modern calligraphy. In here you're gonna find everything from the lowercase, uppercase exercises to get your calligraphy, to connect your letters, and also how to write beautiful sentiments. And I'm gonna put the link to my workbook down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you go to my blog at vialdesigns.com/calligraphy and lettering for beginners to get access to a free basic calligraphy strokes worksheet so you can go ahead and start practicing right away. Check out these videos to get a step-by-step tutorial on how to create modern calligraphy using a regular pen and how to use Crayola markers to create brush calligraphy. If you like this video, hit that like button, be sure to subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. Thank you for watching.